everyone, I'm Mike from Regala Photography, where we talk about everything photography. Today, we are going to take a look at another new feature in Lightroom Classic 13. We're going to take a look at lens blur, and we're going to see how it works. I will tell you right now, it is under early access, which means it's probably under beta or maybe just above beta, but not quite a full release. But anyway, it still works very, very good. So we're going to look into that. So let's get started. Okay, here we are in Lightroom Classic with the version 13 update. We've already gone over the brief highlights of everything that was updated. And we've gone over the point color in the new color mixer. So today I want to focus on, pun intended, focus on lens blur. Now, this is how you will see it. Just like here, you can see right here, it says early access. If you click on the early access, it'll give you, telling you that it is early access, that they're still working on it. And if you click right here, you can actually send them feedback. And from what I understand, Adobe's actually pretty good at responding to customer feedback. So, you know, if there's any issues or any suggestions, go ahead and send it to them. I'm sure they'll be pretty open to whatever you have to say. So click out of that. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to click on this arrow right here. And you can see everything here is all grayed out. What you need to do first is click on apply. And when you click on apply, depending on your computer, I have an M1 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it does go pretty quick, but again, it could go a little bit slower. It'll say analyzing across the bottom. So up here first is your blur amount. So I could take it all the way down and there's no blur whatsoever. I could take it all the way up until it looks completely unnatural. I mean, even a 1.4 85 millimeter lens, I don't even know if that'll be that blurry, but you can also see if you go too far, it kind of makes a few mistakes here and there. So, but I'm going to show you how you can fix some of that as well. So let's bring this back down to 50%. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. Maybe we'll go to 40. Okay, a little bit more natural. Okay. And the next feature is the bokeh. Okay, some people say bokeh, but it's technically pronounced bokeh. Okay, and these are the different types of bokeh balls that you would normally see when you're shooting with a lens that's a fast lens that can get a blurry background. Okay, and if you watch this area right in here, you'll see some changes. In fact, let me zoom in a little bit. Oops, not that. Oh, we gotta go a little bit farther. Let's do 100%. No, I can't do 100% either. Oh, it's going back down to there. Oops, let's go up to 200%. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we'll keep an eye right here. The little, the sun kind of shining through the clouds here. Okay, now you can see I have it on the first setting. It's got just basic round balls, you know, nothing spectacular, but this is what you would see with a light in the background. If I click on, actually, you know, let me hit the boost. So we'll go up to 80% here. And if I click on the next one, you really see it changing. You can see how there's a ring around the bokeh balls. Okay, change it up a bit. This one over here is more of a pentagon. Okay, it's got the 5 sides to it. It's actually, I think if you hold your cursor over the top of it, or is it the option key? Let me see. Option, nope. Oh, or shift key. I can't remember. There's a way. I'll have to put it, I'll do a, I'll put it on the screen on how you would get the, it'll tell you exactly what they are supposed to replicate. So this would be like a 5 blade, like a vintage lens. Okay. Here's the next one over here. You can see how that one's changing. And again, it's got the ring around it. And then the last one is more of the footballs. Really can't see it as well on this particular example, but we're just going to keep it over here on this one right here. And I'm going to bring this back down to 50% right there. Okay. All right. Let me zoom back out here. All right. Next one is your focal range. Now it defaults to subject. So it picks whatever it thinks is the subject, and it will blur the background. And in this particular case, it kept the foreground in focus. Okay. But if you want to pick where you want to focus, I can click this little target button right here and come on over here. And let's just say I want to focus on the tree. I focus on the tree, and now the subject is now the tree, and I am blurred out right here. And then I can go back and I can click subject and go back to it. Or let's just say I'm over here like this. Oops. Click this and then go back to the tree. But let's just say I want to bring myself back in focus. Just come on over here, click on my face. Boom. Now I'm back in focus. Okay. Now what I suggest you do is click that target button, and even if it does get the subject pretty right or correct, click the target and then click, close to your eyes, as you said, if it's a person or an animal, close to the eyes, and click on that, and then that will be your focus. Okay. Now, another way of looking at the focal range is right down in here. It's a visual representation of your depth map, which is, we're going to kind of go into that in a little bit more in a minute here. But if I take this box and I move it around, you'll see the focus changes to the background now. Okay. And then if I bring it back over this way, it'll bring it back to the foreground. And then I believe it was like right around here. I can just double click it and same thing. Okay. And you could also take your little boxes here, your little size, and you can focus it even more. All right. So you can do that. Now, if you really want to be able to see what you're doing, come down here and click the visual depth. Now that's your depth map. So basically anything here that is an orange or red is in focus, and anything in blue or purple or darker is out of focus. So you can see as I bring this back over, actually I take that back. Anything in white is in focus. Okay, so if I look here, turn that off, anything in white is in focus right here. Okay. But let's turn this back on here. And then again, if we go back over here, as I go back, you can see the focus goes to the background, and then I'll turn off the depth map and you'll see that I am out of focus and my background is in focus. Okay. So let's come back over here. See this one, it doesn't allow you to, you got to bring it back. The easiest way to do it is just to get out of that. Click your target. It's a little finicky. And now I'm back in focus. Okay. So again, that's your visual depth map. And then you can move where you want the focus to be. Now there's even more ways to adapt how you want your photo to look. Okay. So for example, well, actually, let me talk about this first. You have basically their brushes. You have a focus brush and you have a blur brush. So let's just say I want to put my foreground out of focus. Okay. So basically I just want to be in focus here, and I want to keep a little bit out of focus right here in the front. So I'll click on blur. Okay. And then I'll click on my size, and you can see the size of my brush. So we don't want to go too big here. And then you can do your feather and your flow as well. And there's also an auto mask if you want to do auto mask. Okay. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to paint. And you can see that my foreground is out of focus now. Okay. Just like that. And I could change the amount to less or more. Like in this case, I probably would go a little bit less. Okay. And if I wanted to bring part of it back into focus, same thing, click on focus. I got the amount. we're going to go all the way. Okay. And then my size, let me see my size. We want to go right there. Let's just say I want to kind of round this off a little bit here. And we're going to bring this back into focus, like right there. And now just the corners are out of focus. Okay. So you could change that up a little bit. And again, you can modify it any way you want, which I really, really like that. Now, the other cool thing, let's just say I wanted to keep that like that with that kind of focus, but I wanted to do another one over here and kind of blur this maybe a little bit less out of focus. Okay. I can click a new brush. Okay. Actually, no, I want to do blur. Okay. And then we're going to blur that a little bit more. Take my brush and we're going to paint. And we could do another one. Okay. And this one, let's just say, is a little bit more out of focus. And if I want to, again, I could change what it is. Now, the one thing about this, though, is that once you get out of your first, like once I click this plus button and go to a new one, the first one is baked in. It's not like a mask. Okay. It's not like a mask where you can go back to the mask and re-edit it. So make sure that you got your first one all set. And then when you are ready to do a new one, if you need a new brush, a focus or out of focus, then you can click it. But otherwise, don't click that unless you know for sure that you're not going to want to change it anymore. Okay. So let me get out of that. Okay. Actually, yeah, you can click out of it. There you go. So it goes right back out. All right. Now, the one cool thing about the lens blur in Lightroom Classic, there are other apps and editing programs that actually have the blur. However, I know for sure, like Luminar Neo, they have it as well and uses AI just like Lightroom does. Oh, and also Camera Raw also has exactly this too. Adobe Camera Raw. However, in Lightroom Neo, the issue is it only works with portraits. It only works with people. So in this particular case with this truck, I wouldn't be able to use Luminar Neo. At least as of right now, they have not updated it to do other subjects. Okay. Or here, I can click on it and there's my blur. Okay. And the bokeh ball is really going to make a difference in this one as much. So let's just say I want to increase it a little bit more. Okay. And that's for the bokeh balls. Do we want to boost that up a little bit or no? Nah, we don't really need that. Okay. And let's just say I want to blur a little bit more actually. So I want to do right to the back of the truck. Okay. So there we go. Just like that. And if I do want to add more blur in there, I can. If I want to take some out. So let's say right here, I want to take some out. And I'm going to lower that down a bit. Where's my brush? And let's just say I want to take part of this truck, like this mirror. I want to take that out of it because technically, if this is in focus right here, that mirror should be in focus. Now, in this particular case, I probably should have clicked the auto mask. Okay. And it would focus or try to stay right around where the high contrast areas are. So, but I did not do that. So, but it actually worked pretty good though. So now you can see that mirror is a little bit more in focus where, naturally it would be in focus because this mirror falls on the same plane pretty much as this truck right here. So, because you can see where it's attaching. So technically it should have been in focus. Now, because it's way out in here, you can see how the out of focus, the blurring area goes around like a real lens would. Some of this might be a little out of focus. So, but you can kind of bring it back a little bit. Okay. And then maybe what I would do with this particular photo is do a linear gradient. Let's lower the exposure a little bit. And we're kind of bring that up. Kind of darken that up a little bit to kind of frame it in. Just like that. And everything else is already edited on this photo, just so you're aware. But I mean, that would be your photo right there. So, that's lens blur. I think Adobe, again, for the first release, I think they've hit it out of the park. Yes, it has some issues, but all betas always have issues. I think for the most part, they did a really good job with this. And again, people always wonder, is subscribing to Adobe worth it as opposed to buying an app outright and then not having to pay for it again? And I'll use Luminar Neo as an example. I like it. I use it as a plugin for some of the features that it has, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to update to the next version because they nickel and dime you. So you might get some updates, but then what they do is they offer these, quote, extensions for an extra price. And, I think some of the ones that they have are, I can't remember what they have for extensions. One they give you for free. They give you a HDR so you can take, photos, the same photo with 3 different exposures and you can blend them together. Okay. But that's for free. But everything else you have to pay for. And you know what? No, I mean, I paid for the app. I don't, until you change to a new version number, I should get all the updates. So that's why I don't like something like Luminar Neo. And if you look at something like Capture One, it is a very high price if you want to pay for it outright. They do have a subscription model as well. So you can subscribe to Capture One if you want to. But in all honesty, I think even if you only get the photography bundle in Adobe Creative Cloud, you still get Lightroom Classic and you still get Photoshop. And Photoshop includes Camera Raw. You really can't beat that for, what is it, $10, $15 a month? That's not, and plus you get all the updates as well as, I believe you also get the respective beta apps too, so you can follow what some of the new features are. So, in my case, to pay for what I consider the industry standard in regards to photo editing, I think subscribing to the Adobe Creative Cloud is well worth it. And, people may disagree with me and everybody's got their pluses and minuses with each one. Yes, it is an added expense, but if you are going to be making money with your photos, I know Capture One is a very, very good program. And if you do the subscription model on that one, I'm sure you'll be very happy with that. Personally, if I was going to use Capture One, I'd probably only get it if I was going to be doing a lot of tethering, because while Lightroom does have a tethering feature to it, Capture One, hence the name Capture One, the tethering is much more refined and has much more features to it than Adobe Lightroom does. But other than that, I mean, Adobe Lightroom is amazing. So, and Photoshop, again, I mean, Photoshop's been around for ages. So anyway, there you go. Lens blur. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel and click that like button. It really does help. Ring that bell if you want to be notified when my next video is posted. Until next time, take care, everyone.